Back on Wednesday's show, it's great to have Forest Service Rangers Lisa Lewis, Doug Rhodes with us this morning. They recently wrote and released a book on the history of Camp Claiborne. So welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Well, thank you.
We are just delighted that you're all here with us and with the books. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Tell us about the book, Lisa. We'll start with you.
Okay, well, great. Well, the book was a labor of love for about 2 years. Doug and I were able to compile a lot of the photos that he had collected throughout the years, and a little bit of the history of Camp Claiborne. It was established in 1941, and so we thought it was very fitting on the 75th anniversary, which this year in January marked the 75th anniversary of the establishment of Camp Claiborne, is to write a book to remembering the sacrifices that the men and women, and to feature some of the major units that trained there at Camp Claiborne.
And a lot of troops came through Camp Claiborne, I know, with the Louisiana maneuvers and all.
You know, over 500,000 soldiers trained at Camp Claiborne during that brief period. So,
and I think after the war, it became part of the Kisatchie National Forest.
Well, that's correct. Actually, it was part of the Kisatchie National Forest. Was established in about 1933, 1934, and we like to say that the Kisatchie was drafted at the age of 7 because, yes, Camp Polk, Camp Claiborne, and Camp Livingston were all established from National Forest lands. And at the close of the war, Camp Livingston and Camp Claiborne were returned to the National Forest. And of course, Camp Polk is now Fort Polk today, and it remained open.
Where can you get the book?
Okay, well, the book is available for a $25 donation through the Southern Forest Heritage Museum. And we have a phone number that you can reach. You can also Google the Southern Forest Heritage Museum, and there's some contact information there.
And that'll give you the information. Doug, you compiled a lot of the pictures that we've been showing this morning. One in particular caught my eye was Alvin York's address.
yes,
He was a World War I hero.
Yes, he was, and a personal hero of mine as well.
Yeah.
And those ruins, the actual site there, we have designated is a historic site there at Camp Claiborne. So if you go down there and visit Camp Claiborne, the signs will direct you right to that very spot where he was at. He addressed the 82nd Infantry Division, which later on would be converted to the 82nd Airborne and 101st Airborne. So it also has the distinction of being the birthplace of these two airborne divisions as well.
There was also a hospital, I believe.
Yes, there was the hospital itself, which was a 5,000 bed hospital, and it had its own staff. And the 20th General Hospital came there from Pennsylvania, University of Pennsylvania, and they established the 20th General Hospital, which trained there, and they then shipped out to the India-Burma theater of operations. But,
that is so fascinating.
Yeah, but then as the war progressed, as the wounded then were brought back to Camp Claiborne and went through rehabilitation there at Camp Claiborne as well. So the hospital was fully staffed all through the war.
And again, Lisa, if in your research for Camp Claiborne, anything that really stood out to you? One thing that really stood out?
Well, I think probably what stood out was just the sheer size, and that, like Doug said, over 500,000 soldiers came through and trained at Camp Claiborne. It was by far the largest of the 3 military bases here in Louisiana. And but we just hope that the book, people will enjoy it. There's a lot of history. We focused on some of the major divisions that trained there, and a lot of the small specialty units as well.
Like you said, it was a labor of love for both, right?
Yes, so much, yes.
All right, Lisa, Doug, thanks for coming. Let me give you that phone number again, 318-748-8404, and you can get it also at the Southern
Forest Heritage Museum, that's correct. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for dropping by.
You bet.
More to come, but first our community calendar, then right after that, you're home with Debbie Aaron.